So welcome everyone to this session of the HOTS Masterclass. We are here today with Matt Lawrence and Balázs Fehér. We are going to talk about music production and the nits and bits and nuances of how to get it right and how to make a great song from a production standpoint. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the gents here, but just to give a short intro, I'm gonna read a short intro. So Matt Lawrence, a Grammy Award-winning mixer, producer, and engineer whose influential work has echoed through the music industry for over 2 decades. With billions of streams and millions of record sales worldwide, Matt's unparalleled mix skills have shaped the sounds of Ellie Goulding, Mumford & Sons, Frank Turner, to name a few. Not just a master at the mixing board, he's also a trailblazer in the Dolby Atmos mixing scene and a go-to expert for the most challenging and unique audio projects, from global live events to innovative vinyl cuts. Despite these towering achievements, Matt remains deeply committed to nurturing the next generation of music talent. So he's here today also, and he keeps coming back to help Hungarian talents and work with them.
I've got to say, it's the Hungarian food that keeps getting me back.
Not the talent? Okay.
And the talent.
We'll take that. Yeah. Balázs is a charismatic lead singer and songwriter of the Carbon Fools. He grew up in a musically inclined family, has not only made his mark with his distinctive voice, but also through his deep involvement in music production. From his early days forming a band at 15, he has evolved into a multifaceted artist, contributing significantly behind the scenes in the production process, shaping the sound and feel of the music he's associated with. Beyond performing, he has immersed himself in various aspects of the industry, from collaboration and songwriting to fashion. So welcome both of you. You also work together. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But to sort of decipher the myth around making good song and making not just a hit, but just to how to express yourself in music and lyrics. Can you talk us a little bit about when you meet a new singer-songwriter, let's say, what your approach is? How do you approach working with the talent, and what are the main considerations?
Okay, well, we talked about this earlier. My role, I want to get the job done. I want to get the record finished, and I take in from the artist what their skill set is, what they need, what's lacking. Because sometimes they're an amazing songwriter, it's all finished, they just can't, they need the technical help to finish it, or maybe some of the creativity's missing, they need help with the song and the lyrics. So I think I'm pretty good at gauging what is required and what I need to do to fill the gaps to make that happen. There are some people who, that's their lane, that's their thing, and you go to them because they'll do that creative thing only. But I like to think I've got a bit of quite a different skill set, and I'm able to, and I've got no ego, which is quite important. I don't need to prove something was my thing or my idea. I look at the picture as a whole and say, to get finished with a good record, we need to do this, this, and this, and I'll fit in as required, and I'll try to draw out from the artist what they are good at, what their skills are, what their strengths are. I'll try to bring them to the fore, give them confidence in that, so that we get the essence of them on the record.
Balázs, well, you as an artist, when you meet a producer, what do you expect from a producer to bring out of you, or what's the sort of the dynamics? Maybe that's a bit difficult question first.
No. It's pretty simple for me. I am too arrogant in the beginning all the time, so I think I'm the shit, and I'm gonna tell even Matt what to do and stuff like that. But then I slowly start to realize who am I working with. It's the same with Matt and everyone. I'm starting with an upfront position, but for me, it's good to grow through work like this as well. And not everyone is like Matt. Not everyone is like him. I picked him because I felt something. We're gonna have something in common, and it came true because you know, it's the most important thing is, I think, is chemistry, and you can feel that. I mean, if you feel music, you feel, you know, who to work with. Of course, you're gonna, you know, meet people that not, you know, matching with your expectations as well. But in this case with Matt, it was really like easy because we just sat down and talked for like ages. So it was from there, and of course I knew like where he came from and who is he. So I was pretty easy about, you know, this track is going to be in good hands. So for me, it's always about, you know, just chemistry with like people.
That's interesting, but yeah, having a connection. I guess we both probably made the effort to make a connection, and then we realised we talked for hours and hours about politics and philosophy and not making records, which is always a good thing when you have to like stop yourself just chatting and do some work. It proves that you are on the right creative page, I think.
Yeah, it's really like it makes your whole process really easy, because if you kind of same, then you're gonna be kind of same in music as well. So you don't have to like have big arguments. I mean, work is gonna be way easier.
Yeah, and your instrument is your voice most of the time. So essentially, and it's probably the most difficult to work with, because the human factor is much more than if you have an instrument and a tool and such. Is there a difference?
No,
like
that's a really good point. Yeah, I'm on a constant mission, and it's been more than 20 years to find getting the voice to be the best delivery possible. What is it? And at the end of each project, I say to each artist, what is it I could have said to you to put you in the right mindset? Almost all artists I work with, I put them in with a singing teacher who's, you know, and it's all, and she's especially into the psychology and getting singers to think about the words. But getting a really authentic vocal is about connecting with the artist, understanding when they're in the right zone, when they're not, whether they're nervous, whether they're not as nervous, and just putting them in the right frame of mind to go and do their thing.
Do you have any kind of methods that puts you in the right?
That one, because the thing is, I constantly try to remind myself of me being a human being is most important. Me being a singer is second important, because if I try to be a singer, it's gonna blow up everything. Because if you feel the words, if you sing the words like you mean it, then, you know, magic comes. But otherwise, it's just gonna be a singer singing.
It's just a stale delivery. It's like, it's kind of perfect, but it doesn't connect with you. And some of the records I think we all probably grew up loving are like, they've got a bit of angst in the voice, they've got something. And that singer must have been in the right headspace to really connect with that person. Because you've got like a song on an advert, it's just sung well, but it doesn't grab you. So
Yeah, and do you do a lot of takes, or you try to get it right first time,
I'm
or
trying
in
to
the
do
first
fewer. The difficulty is identifying when you've got the magic. So I've done all sorts of shit, from putting people in rooms with crazy pictures to make them feel a bit crazy, all this kind of stuff.
I never had that.
Or make you didn't need it. You didn't need it. But I think we had to accelerate like any kind of nerves or whatever with working with each other. Or for you, it's difficult because for a singer, it might be like, you've got to do vocals next Tuesday. That's it. And for art, that's not always. They might not be in the right frame of mind. So it's very difficult to. You got to kind of help them get there. If you're doing a spreadsheet, you can kind of just suck it up and do it whenever. So it's a difficult thing, but I think we got ourselves in the right headspace for you to really do your shit.
Yeah, that point when we were doing the actual recording, like we re-recorded the vocals, and at that point I realized, well, I'm working with someone like really good, because the ad libs, you guys gonna probably hear it because we're gonna like show you a bit of music, and I was just like, whoa. And you know, I was working with Hungarian producers, but it's different. It's for some reason different, because the reason could be because I was working with them and I was so used to working with Hungarian methods and with Hungarian people, but with the ad libs and the whole vibe of the music, like the vocal recording was different, way easier, way sharper than I got used to.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like a director, like bringing out the, the good stuff from the actor. But
I think there is a lot of that to get a really emotional take. It definitely is it's a mind game. It's understanding their mindset.
yeah, and I'm sure not everyone's using vocals or not just vocals. Do you have other so when it's about the sound of a band or sound of not human voice, then what sort of techniques do you use, or do you have different approaches orchestration wise? Or
yeah, I mean, basically I worked with one singer. Something I was watched for. I worked with a Roisin singer in a band called Moloko, and her thing was always dance floor distress. It's a great phrase that stuck with me because we'd be mixing the record and she'd be dancing and we'd try something new and she'd stop and be like, hold on, there's something wrong. I've got dance floor distress. There's something wrong with the groove. So specifically for a dance song, it's very important to make sure you've identified those moments of clashing rhythm or dance floor distress. That was quite a useful little journey for me.
And for you, when it comes to orchestration, do you let him, in this case, lead more or than in your vocals, let's say, or exactly what you want with that too, and there's little room for Matt, maybe?
No, it's always room for Matt, not just a little, but
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, but I have my thing, and I also always had a clear vision of what I want to do, like not just musically, but the support, the core for myself and for my voice has always been really important for me because that's my room. I have to fit in. So for me, like me being a singer, me being a producer is different because, and I have the producer mindset when I sing. Of course, not when I sing, but when I try to, fit the vocal part in the song. It's not for me that I'm not a singer. So the vocals are not the most important. The most important is the song
And this was a bit different because we were reproducing or additionally producing a song that existed already. So we're not like searching for a whole new thing. We just, we sort of met each other. We agreed to work on this song and we identified that there was just areas where the vocals could be stronger, things like running out of breath and, simple things like that. So it's a bit different when you're recreating something. You're just trying to take what's there, take the best of that song and move it forward. Sometimes you're just inventing the song and you don't know how it's going to end up. But with this, we kind of knew roughly what it was going to look like, didn't we?
Yeah. Okay, since we spoke about the song a lot, can we perhaps listen to it? And just before that, so this was a collaboration you did last year, I think. And can you tell us about the circumstances of how it came to be?
Yeah, well, I was sent various songs. This one jumped out at me. I thought, this is a fantastic song. I even thought, well, hold on, should I be choosing a really great song to work on? Because there's going to be less I can do to it. But I thought it's just such a great song. I've got to see what I can do to help it, just make it as good as it possibly can be. Because I really thought it's going to be a strong radio single. I think it's going to do well for you. It really is a great song. So it was like, how can I give that the nip and tuck and make it sort of accessible to radio?
Okay. And just for you to know, that, so it was part of the HOTS SongLab project, and which main aim is to find Hungarian talent who could work with international talent to make the songs perhaps more exportable and accessible for international audiences. And so this is one of the songs from this project.
Are we playing the demo and the finished or nearly finished?
Demo
so
first.
This is how it started out, right?
Yeah.
Not dealing with the frizzies, the humidity is going to be lower at least for today and tomorrow, but then things change quickly. So yes, take advantage, enjoy, go out for a walk or a jog early this morning, head out with your dog. We're going to see a gusty breeze developing along the coast because the wind is going to shift from the north to northeast. So although the rain chance is low, we are going to see a few clouds blowing by and there might be a few isolated showers. As we go into the weekend, it will be downright breezy at times and the showers will return, especially on Sundays when our rain chance will be highest. But let's enjoy these numbers.
Outside for the long night. It's freezing cold for you. Your bones are shaking, low bones will break one day. You still wanna keep the change for who? How long you trying and playing, smiling around when it's raining? You're crazy.
Nice.
Okay, very good demo. Yeah.
I
What
hope
did
mine
you like
sounds
most?
better now.
So what stood out for you when you heard this demo?
I think it's a really cool song. I think it's really the vocal is really jaunty. There's lots of it really drew me in. I think it's fantastic. It's really uplifting, good summer tune. But then a few classic things like it starts with that whole sample, like long, and it's like it was nearly a minute or something.
Ending.
It's like, and it's when you point things like that out to an artist, it's kind of obvious that oh yeah, but you don't notice when you write a song. It can be quite a confusing, very muddled process to get the song finished. And you might have something like, oh, I've got 8 choruses or no bridge, or it's really common for something to be fundamentally wrong, but they just haven't spotted it because they're in the middle of it. And I guess that's part of why you want a producer, because I've got that distance, and I'm like, you do realise, and often they know that, oh, right, yeah, we just got to, so we lost that whole intro. The bass I found a little bit, it wasn't quite on point, it was a bit woofy, so one of the reasons it took a bit longer is I was able to get Steve Pearce, who's a like phenomenally, incredibly talented, world-famous bass player, to play this sort of quite funky bass line on it, to hopefully make it a lot more snappy. And I found the vocals, as much as I loved it, it would just, nobody said to you, don't try and sing that whole line, let's do it in 2 halves, because it was just running out of punch by the end of the line. So we identified good break points, we did it, half a line each so that he could give some real punch to it, and then tightened up a bit of the arrangement, make it some of the sounds a bit snappier. But it's the same song, it's just had a bit of a spruce up.
Yeah.
Hopefully
And
it sounds
for you,
even better.
What did you like in this song? Why did you pick it? Or what was the story in it for you?
Ooh, I have a special connection with all the songs I've been writing, but this is the best song from the album, and I wanted to impress Matt, and I wanted to work with him, and that's why I sent my best song. So that was it. Last year I sent you another song. You didn't pick it. I was like, I gotta get a better one. So that's fine.
Okay, so let's hear the Matt version, the new version.
Everybody want it. Everybody need it. Everybody break it. Everybody shake it. All the boys want it. All the girls want it. No one ever seen it. So shake it till you make it. It's cold outside for your lonely mind. It's freezing cold for you. Your bones are shaking. Your bones will break one day. You still wanna keep the change for who? How long you trying, playing, smiling around when it's raining? Your crazy game is a hawks. Your ship is sinking, captain. Still no clue what's happening. You'll pretend like you do, but they all just keep staring, hoping it's the end of the blue. Lay it down in your heart. It's time forevermore. It's thunder, lightning, and your everlasting joy. My only desire, my sweetest feel. Here is the place to be. I'm only king when you're my queen. Talk to me, girl, yeah. From your heart when you talk to me. It's like we've never been apart. It's your spirit, it's your love. I'm here, I'm all above. I've been always looking, I've been always looking for you. Let it rain till your heart shines bright again.
Thanks, Laura. Nice job. Very well done. Now that you heard it, is there anything you'd love to change?
Well, we actually haven't quite finished, so we're going to add some synth bass matching that funk bass, because he plays with a very tight funk sound, so we just want to put a bit of warmth back in. A little bit of claps to change in the breakdown, so there's a little nip and tuck. Hearing that, I think I'll just make sure it's loud and punchy.
It sounds good.
It's difficult, I can't tell from behind the speakers,
Yeah.
but does it sound good out there?
Yeah, and you absolutely feel the difference.
Really? Oh, good,
Nice.
good. Phew.
Good. No, I could feel the difference from behind
Brilliant.
as well.
Yeah.
And just even, I'm just happy. No, I'm really happy. Like I went home and I was like, when we first met, I had a great day with Matt, and I was like, I was working with a Grammy award-winning producer. I didn't know that till I was like, okay, I'm gonna meet him, and like just don't fuck it up, stuff like that. And then no, it was a great experience, and now I could hear it was a real one. It was a real one, so I'm happy.
Nice. And what do you think? Is this collaboration going to continue in any ways, or is it?
If we can, we're both. I mean, as you found out, I'm very, very busy. It's hard to fit everything in, but I'd love to. If he keeps writing songs like that, I'll keep producing them, no problem at all.
Yeah. And yeah.
No, it's about, like, it would be nice to work with Matt all the time, but of course this, it's not about this. Of course it could be, a really good thing, but for me, I try to focus on what, we're doing right now, and then, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd absolutely love to. If this could be the stepping stone to making a situation available that we could do it, I'd come in a heartbeat and, push it forward.
Are there things that you learned, for example, in this process that you can take home and, apply it in the future on your own, in your, what mindset you use?
Of course, first of all, it made me more humble. That's always the case, first case. But second of all, it's just, I mean, for me, music is constant learning of the sensitivity, what we try to, push back, all the time. Or we program to just kill our humanness. But with music, you cannot do that, because if you try to do that, what you do every day, then it's not going to work. So I try to be as open as I can, and information comes in. I don't even have to suck anything in. So, and I always love to spend time with people I adore, in a human sense and in music-wise. So it's been great. It's been great.
And what's the best source for you for ideas, musical ideas?
I knew this is gonna come.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's so funny and so simple. I don't have to do anything. The only thing is I have to wait. I have to wait. This is what, talent, this is why talent is so special, which everyone has, not of course in the same way. I'm not saying, we all having birthdays all the time, and there's no second places. Of course there are. But for me, music is just, sitting down and waiting for something to come, which is more perfect than I would ever thought of. So fantastic for me, like that.
Yeah, Matt, do you have a good source of ideas?
I mean, for me as a producer, I really have to wait for their thing to come.
We all
and then but I remember you were sort of somebody who's mentioning about what I can do to help people when they're stuck in the process or whatever. And I've had this many times, and sometimes it's just them being with me and me just saying, look, we are going to do this. We're going to fix this today. Because some people have got a verse that they haven't quite finished, and they kick it down the road for 8 months. And then we're in the studio and it's like, dude, we're finishing this today. We are going to write your verse, and we're not going to stop. And it's a difficult thing, but I've been there so many times with world famous singers and I know it can be done. You can just sit down and finish that verse, but you've just got to have the strength to know you're going to do it. And it's like, before you get there, it gets really dark. You just get to this point where you're like, nothing's coming, man. We're wasting our time. What are we doing? You just got to keep pushing, and you will definitely get there. But you need to be sat with somebody who's got the confidence in you to say, we're going to do it, don't worry. And the worst case, like, I'm a big fan of sleeping on it. We'll finish tomorrow, but we'll get all our ideas down. We'll get all the things we're going to do, and your brain will fix the thing overnight. I'm a big believer in that one too.
Yeah, a friend of mine, a singer-songwriter, says, for example, he's just opening up a dictionary in random places, and so just methods like that, and then finding weird random words and just trying to make connections between them, and that could spark ideas and help him write lyrics, for example. Do you have any kind of methodologies like that?
I've seen a lot of artists do that kind of thing, and Richard Ashcroft especially has these books of prose and texts and really amazing kind of lyrics that jump out of the page, and he'll use that. I like to help find a narrative behind the song, so I'll try and link it up and make the song have a story, and maybe the bridge can have it's like view the same story through another window or something, so that I find a narrative helps you to just have the confidence to think of more words to link it together.
Yeah, I one more thing popped up in my mind. So, when my father used to say, the only thing what you have to do is have to be, honest to yourself. And even if you bored or anything, I mean, any kind of hello. Anything could happen to you. It could be boredom, or it could be excitement, it could be any kind of feeling. But if you're honest to yourself, you always have something to, talk about, because life is always happening right now, which is your inspiration, basically. So boredom could be an inspiration for a song.
And do you write your songs yourself, Matt, sometimes?
More co-write. I mean, I used to, but really I'm busy working with artists, so I'll often help them. It's very common to help with, especially lyrics, or very commonly people don't write a bridge. I don't know why. The last 5 years I keep getting all these songs where there's no bridge. You don't have to have a bridge, but it's a nice chance to break out musically and break the story and come back in, and it's almost always effective if you add one in. Okay. So it's usually co-write, finishing, helping.
And so over the years, how have your methods changed a lot? Or yours, for example? We spoke about plugins a little bit in the beginning. Yeah. So the way stuff you use, tools you use, and environments.
I guess technology has moved it on without question, but the song is still the song for a traditional band. That side of it's still the same, but the technology means you can work in different places. Like we were outside finishing off some of the songs there, and like tomorrow I'm flying to Spain to record a flamenco dancer who's going to dance along to a Spanish singer-songwriter's record I've been making. So the technology's meant we can do these crazy things where we'd never have got her to the studio, but we can fly off to this dance studio, set up, record a dancer on a record. I'm very excited about it, and it's just embracing the fact that things are more mobile and that we can work collaboratively from around the world, really.
And for you, has technology affected?
Technology, no, not really. But the thing what shocked me the most is when I was young, I thought you have to be fucked up all the time to write a good song. God bless, that's gone. So I don't have to fuck myself up to think that I'm an artist. So I am writing. This song is about, about laying down in your heart is the biggest thing, And I could talk about, God. I could talk about my girlfriend. It doesn't matter. But love for me, and love with wisdom, not just love. That crazy South African love. I'm not South American love. No, sorry, not South African. But not that crazy, rom-com type. But the love what comes within and with wisdom. And if I'll talk about that, which I found in myself, this just makes me happy, and I don't have to suffer anymore. So that's a big change for me.
Okay. We're also open to questions, by the way, so if anything pops up.
God, I have so many questions. Maybe the first one would be, if you could tell the 3 key takeaways, what you know now, for yourself 20 years ago, what would they be from a technical standpoint?
Get a proper job. That's a joke. That's a very good question. I'm just going to freestyle while I think of good answers. Like set the scene. The take is the take. Like the vocal take, the band take. Make sure you've got everyone in the right zone, because you can't fake that. You can nudge it all in time afterwards, but if you can set the scene correctly and get everyone in the right mood, definitely do that. Another one actually we talked about, you sometimes have an idea, or you might do something and it's taken you 2 weeks of like fiddling and making this thing that you do, and then you do another one, or someone does something in 10 seconds over that part. If the 10-second one is better, just delete your 2-week one and go with that and don't care. Whatever's better is better, and sometimes it took 10 seconds, sometimes it took a year. You got to delete the year one because the other one is better. You need to realize it's better and just move on. Don't get caught up. You've been in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who hasn't been.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people, you know, some artists, and the 10-second one, or the artist that writes a song in 5 minutes, they don't think it has any value, but it totally does. It took you 10 years and 5 minutes or whatever. So yeah, understand when something is good. It just is good. Go with it. Don't worry about it.
All right, awesome.
That's only two, but I can't think of a third yet.
Yeah. Do you have more?
Yeah, but
Oh, sorry. Someone else? I didn't see anyone else.
I'll think of a third. What is the third? Try and have a good time. Like,
that's,
just have a good time doing it. Because sometimes, when it's your, you know, as the British, your fourth, you know, it's your job to do it. So you kind of feel the stress, but try and have a good time at the same time. That's
what we're having.
yeah.
Another one would be, like, with today's technology and especially how the market of accessible music gear has evolved over the past decade, how would you evaluate, can artist, producer, hobbyist do as good as of a record in a home studio setting or a minimal studio setting as you could do in a super professional?
Yeah, you could. You definitely could. And you can, and some do. I guess the only limit, like the professional is more likely to get the good result and maybe get it quicker, but it doesn't mean somebody in their own space can do it. Some of the stuff in a computer now is exactly the same. More and more, we're using exactly the same tools. The price, you know, it used to be that a £1 million studio or a £500,000 mixing desk was not available at home. Well, now we all use Logic or Pro Tools, and most of the artists I work with have a lot of the same plugins. You know, there's some things that are still not worth them buying, but you totally can do it. Somebody else was asking me about recording at home, and with that, I'll lead on to that question, that just try and put yourself in a space that sounds good. You know, people like designate this studio, but like if you're recording an acoustic guitar, walk around with an acoustic guitar, and wherever it sounds good in your house, record it there. It's kind of obvious in hindsight, but it took me a while to realise that. Like now I walk around a studio with a double bass or whatever, it's like, here, record it here. And just have the confidence to do it. You totally can do it, for sure.
Yeah, just following up on this, like music production in general has been like such a huge thing on the internet. Like, you know, everyone's like has tutorials and teaching materials and
Yeah,
and all
they
that.
do.
What do you think of those? Like, it's a huge industry, and
That's probably my answer, but it's like beware false prophets. It seems who is actually telling you the good information? That's the thing. Finding the golden information is very, very hard now. Some of it's hidden behind a price wall for mix with the masters or whatever. Even that stuff, I wonder how much truth people are saying in some of the stuff. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's like some of those happy things where they talk for 10 minutes before telling you the thing you went on to. I find that quite tiring. And I think there are some good forums out there, actually, if you can sort of tune into some of those. There are some good forums of either professionals or serious amateurs that are just giving you a no bullshit answer.
yeah, because the democratization has been like going on and on and on, and you know, now we're talking about hundreds of millions of people probably making music to some extent. You know, whether it's an artistic profession or just a hobby. You know, of course, most is a hobbyist. It's just that it's become like so common, especially during COVID, that, you know, people just sitting at home making music, you know, using plugins and watching all these tutorials and thinking they are producers now. And well.
It's a bit like chefing, I think. There are some fundamental techniques that they're out there. They're just hard to find, and I can't sort of give you any now because I only know what they are when I see somebody doing it wrong. But if you can tune into that or find a good forum or watch a professional doing it, it's all there. Some of the mistakes people are making are kind of obvious to me. It's hard to explain.
Did you never have the itch to share your tricks, bag of tricks to the world?
The thing is, I don't really hide it. It's all there. If people want to ask me questions, it's how you apply it. It's kind of, we've all got 100 different tricks, but the uniqueness of whatever I do is how I choose to apply those tricks. I'm pretty sure there's nothing I've hidden from anybody, but I certainly, doing tutorials. not for me. I wish some sort of super pro would do it. Just a no bullshit one. There you go. Do that. It would save us all a lot of time.
Yeah, I see that in fitness. Like there's a few professionals, and then they just pick random people on Instagram and just roasting them. You could do that probably.
Maybe that's probably a good fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Actually, Dave Pensado seems to be good. His In the Layer stuff on Pensado's place. I think you can just get the In the Layer videos. Have you seen these?
In the layer.
In the Layer. And he's got numbers 1 to, I don't know what he's on, 200 now. So Dave Pensado, big US producer, mix engineer. And he seems to be giving really good, honest, no hiding, no bullshit answers. So that's the one I'd recommend, actually.
Okay. If we're talking about these mistakes, like what are the biggest mistakes that you sometimes make, and you also that you learned from?
Being fucked up. Yeah. No, but that was needed to actually. When you hurt yourself, then you figure out that's not good. After a while, hopefully, not many people figuring out the same thing. But I mean, writing a song is just full of mistakes. So you fuck up basically everywhere. But small. I'm talking about small things. I'm talking about big things. But I mean, even if you regret, life doesn't care. So for me, the biggest mistake.
Or just like general mistakes that you used to do and now you learn and
Too confident.
Yeah.
I'm being too confident. It's definitely one. And closing in, thinking I'm the shit. Worst thing what you could do, but it's also
But
needed.
that's not something every artist does, because some artists actually are too closed in, not confident enough. So I come across it's like
confidence is being closed for
Right.
some people, but and it could work also, but for me these days, closing in is just
not helpful.
yeah.
Yeah.
And does it come into play when you collaborate with someone, for example, when you co-write a song or sing on a song?
It's funny, I had this experience, like I wrote a really good song with someone who I actually didn't really like. That was really surprising for me, because she was just completely different, like morally and in every kind of way. But still, we had such a great time writing a song, and I was like, what is going on here? And so I don't know, life is just, you cannot figure this out.
There's no actual rules. I've seen over these years, I've worked on so many thousands of records, and I've seen people go this way and get to a good result and say, oh, you should never go that way. And then I've worked with people who've gone this way and they've got a great result too. So there's no rules to, everybody has their own way. It's staggering how many different routes people take, either with songwriting or production. But I've just thought of my third one, is just trust your ears. Like, what's coming out of the speaker is everything. Doesn't matter how you got there, whatever. Like, just take the time to listen and go, okay, is it good or is it what I want?
And which one is the best? Which one is the most important element to this feedback in the gear chain? Sorry, I'm asking too much technical questions, but like the interface or the monitors, like which piece of gear equipment for production is the most vital to get right?
I would say monitoring. Like you need to know, if you know what you're hearing, that's everything, right? If you really trust where the bass is, you're like, well, the bass goes there. And you've stopped weeks and weeks of messing around. So like, work on your monitoring, try and get the best monitoring possible. Not easy and often expensive. So just, I don't know how, it's going to be different for everyone, but take the time to try and get your monitoring right. And it's often something silly, like you're in the room's too small, or, But yeah, for me, if I trust what I'm hearing, I'm very confident in what I'm doing. If you're in a funny studio and it's like, oh, I'm not really sure, you're already on your back foot.
Balázs, you were...
I just, the biggest mistake, I think, if you think you know something, That is the
Right.
biggest mistake you ever. I mean, it's just it's just so fresh to be like a child, like you don't know shit, like you're just open, curious. That's it.
Yeah. And in terms of technology now, like, do you get into the mindset of trying to make a song work for algorithms? Is it, or as it used to be for radio, and before
Again,
that,
Yeah, I
for
looked
the
at
album,
all
like,
of that.
does it like even just sneak into your brain a little bit?
It's impossible for not. It's impossible for it to not do that to a point. But it depends who you're working with. If you're working with a label, you're aware that they probably want to do that kind of thing. But sometimes now, I'm definitely not going to chase algorithms. I've had to do it. I've worked with one artist where we had the hit the chorus by here. But
What was that actually? What were the things that you had to
I
look for?
can't remember the details of the algorithm, but it was like the chorus should come in by this point, and and it felt very yeah. I didn't really enjoy doing that.
There are like certain criteria that the algorithm would like.
Yeah.
And how do you get this information? Like
I was supplied it from the artist or the label. I can't remember the circumstance, but I'm sure if you go and look out there. But again, who do you trust? If you go to Google it, you'll find a lot of different ideas and.
Or I guess if you look at the most played songs and reverse
how do they
engineer
make
it, maybe that's.
I mean, AI is coming for us. We've all got that kind of stuff happening. But I didn't want to chase algorithms. It's not how I want to roll. Songs are getting shorter though, and 2 minutes now. Some people are trying to get 2-minute songs in. I'm aware. I will try and get to the chorus quite quickly, or get the hook in straight away, or as soon as I can, more than I ever used to. But if you're working on an album, it's quite refreshing because you can take those kind of album tracks and you don't have to do that. You can just let the song breathe and have the sample at the start. If that was buried within an album, we could definitely do that. So algorithms are there. I'm trying not to chase them too much, but songs are getting shorter and more concise, for sure.
Like punk songs.
Can I ask
Sorry.
a question more from a songwriter perspective? When you're stuck with writing a song, how do you figure out which is the better way to go about it? To wait for inspiration or to try and force it a bit?
As I said, a thing, and as Matt said, the other.
Yeah.
It's always like that. It's you're gonna force it for sure. You're gonna be like that, and then you go, oh no, this thing is not gonna work. Then I'm gonna lay down and relax, and then you cannot relax. It's impossible. You're gonna go through this whole process of just being good and being bad and being a bit better and being a bit worse, and then it's no point of me saying anything other than life is gonna say. So that's it. I mean, in the end of the day, we all in the same pot, so we don't know shit. You're welcome. You're welcome.
you just shouldn't stress about it too much.
No, you cannot do it. I mean, if this is your life, you're gonna fucking stress. You're gonna stress big time, and that's the way it is. Like if you enthusiastic about something, if you want to do something great, for sure you started doing music to do something special, and if you say, oh, I don't want people to hear this, then you're gonna lie. It's so obvious that is a lie. We all the same. We want to be there. We want to be seen. We want to be good, and then we're gonna get so tired of doing this, and then we're gonna sit back and we're gonna rethink the whole thing, and then hopefully you're gonna end up in the same place as myself. That is, don't go chase algorithms.
And your advice was to have a deadline,
but then I work more on deadlines. I have to deliver a record by a certain point, so I'd probably sit you down and say, we're doing this. We're going to get through it. And it might not be the final one we'll get to, but we'll get a result that you can then say the next day, I do like that, I don't like that. And actually doing something, knowing that you did the wrong thing, is still really important, because you knew that was the wrong thing, so you can move on and do another thing that's hopefully right. But do you back yourself as well, like that sometimes you just have to try and break through that? But it's what works for you. As you said, that wasn't your thing, doesn't work for you. Everyone's different.
Yeah, and what if there are more people in the band or in the song, involved? Because working with one person is probably a lot easier than working with five or 10.
Well, when you work with five, you're not often working with five on an equal. There's often a songwriter or there's a band dynamic. I mean, God, you could do a PhD on this. I mean, it's a whole thing. And we talked about this earlier. As a producer, I learned to read the room very quickly. And working with a band, you're often just picking up, okay, where does everybody fit in? Because I want to get us there. I don't want to offend anybody, but I need to see who does what, and then I'll work with that.
Yes, and in the same time, I'm not talking about, you cannot do anything, blah, blah. I'm talking about, try to find the right attitude, but of course you have to be on point. Of course you have to finish a song. Of course you have to live with the stress of have to finish something, because we are professionals. Yeah, it is stressful. But I finished almost five albums, full albums, and I had moments when I was finishing the song right there in the last moment. But I made it, so you're probably gonna make it too.
Yeah, there's nothing like a deadline for like bringing on that forcing you to do that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to finish soon, but still have time for a few questions. Yeah.
Did the Grammy change your professional life?
I don't think so. Actually, my manager's here, so he can answer. I think it just... Actually, there was only one time I needed to use the Grammy to change my life. It was working with a musical director for a big artist, and I was remixing lots of concerts, and we were having a musical debate, and I can't believe I'm going to admit this on camera, but I deliberately gave him the little chair that sank down so his eye was right next to the Grammy. And I sat him down and I said, I think we should do this. And he did what I wanted, so I was...
Thank you.
No worries.
And what do you win Grammy for?
That was Mumford & Sons Babel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have your schedule fixed like for a very long time ahead, or you have openings every now and then?
No, there's definitely like, I think we're busy for certainly going to be like a few months and things. There's often a few months worth of stuff, but things suddenly become urgent. Somebody has something that's like, and I'll try and help out the urgent where I can, and hopefully artists are understanding that I'll do the same for them. But the days of actually booking, I mean, back in the day, it was like, you were at Universal at the time, people used to schedule things. That still happens for really, really big artists, but often now it's just like juggling, dealing with the most urgent.
And how do you like working more on singles instead of albums? Because I suppose there's a big change for a while now.
Yeah, it feels like to be honest, it's nice to get back into an album. I'm doing an album at the moment with a different artist, and it's quite refreshing to just take that time and be able to do definitely non-algorithm songs and, get some of the real message out there. Some of the songs don't have to grab people in the same way. But artists often just want to drip feed singles or EPs now. Yeah. So it just is what it is. We're losing that album thing, but because the algorithms are such and people aren't clicking on the album tracks on Spotify, so people aren't making them.
Yeah, and you, Balázs, do you even care about, creating a set of songs and put in an album, or just think of the song, one song at a time?
I made an album, so I don't know. I try to change as much as the world wants me to change, but I think I'm keep failing on that. So I'm just try to, do what is real for me, and try to be open to change in the same time. But for me, I think I lost in this case, so I'm doing an album.
That's perfect. Yeah, there's one.
How long is a project that you take on usually, and how long do you spend with one artist, and what does that time period look like?
So that can really, really vary. And again, I'm looking to my manager here who knows. I can say Finn, for example, there are some artists who it just takes a long time, and I'm constantly trying to shorten it and speed that up, but it's just not always possible. Some artists. No. Certainly, like some people paid by the project, by the song, whatever. So it's in my interest to do it quickly, but it's also in my interest to do it well, and those things are sometimes not compatible. I'm trying to like make sure I move things along as quickly as possible, but it's different. I mean, sort of say like a song might take 6-7 days, including mix, if it's written.
And do you dedicate a few days in the beginning to get to know the artist?
Yeah, well, it's difficult to dedicate time just for that, although actually we got to do a cool thing. We did our scooting round the city, which was great. Yeah. But I'll often do pre-production with an album, with an artist, which is a good sort of chance to have the red light's not on. So I'll take the songs, we'll talk about which ones could make the album. Let's say it's an album project, and we'll bat that stuff around, whittle that down, and then go into a rehearsal room where we'll rework the songs a bit. Just, it gives me a chance to give my input, my ideas, without actually being in the studio. I love having worked on a song before we get to the studio so that everybody's got it very clear in their mind. We're still able to change it, but we're not searching in front of microphones for... It just means the pressure's off. I always get a better result when I do that. And then you get to have the bonding thing in the rehearsal room. So, yeah, it's lovely to get to know people first. Not always possible, especially with busy artists. You might just turn up like, oh, here we are, right, we're doing it.
But when I was real busy, I had no really interest of meeting someone seriously, So it's not like, it could be more like our meeting was a bit more romantic than it used to, because we had time. I had no deadlines, nothing. So this was a bit different, and. Yeah, it's Matt is a professional, so he's like, I think more like on the work, and this is why he's good at it. So it's a good combination.
Thank
of
you.
that. You're welcome.
Okay, I'm sure there's a lot more to talk about, but we have to finish now. So thank you very much for your contribution and your ideas and your thoughts and your questions. And we're going to continue in 5 minutes with our next session with Böbe and Johnny, and talk about songwriting camps. So stick around or grab another beer maybe, and come back after. See you in a bit.
Cheers.